My name is David Norris. I am the Deputy Chief Fire Officer for East Sussex Fire and Rescue Service. In order to be financially and operationally sustainable, what does that mean? Well, it means we understand where our money needs to go to make sure we deliver the best quality service we can to the public. So that makes sure that our operational staff have got the equipment and the skills and the abilities to respond to operational incidents. But perhaps as important is that our enabling support services equally have the right balance of skills and abilities to make sure that we can do what we need to do into the medium term. Now, we think there's probably a bit of work to do there. I think we are quite a traditional service. We're quite fortunate we've been able to do the same things for a sustained period at a time now. We see that that's going to be challenged over the next few years, and we think the time is right now to do something about that so that we do have the right skills and capabilities in the right places. Now, whilst we've got a lot of experience in the service, we know that there are other organisations who have got a better perspective. They've worked with multiple sectors and multiple different organisations, and we needed that experience. So we carried out an open market competition to see who best could work with us, to try to understand us as an organisation, to understand what we need, but perhaps as importantly, to bring that best practice, that really good experience and that good work that's going on in other sectors, whether they're commercial, whether they're public sector, we don't really mind. But how can we bring those skills into the organisation? How can we learn from that and get ourselves ready for what's coming next? So we were really excited to work with Infuse because we've seen that over the years you've had that level of experience with other sectors. You've worked with some pretty big organisations. You've worked with some smaller organisations. How do you bring that skill to us? How can you help us learn from that? How can we download what some of that good practice is and turn that into a fire and rescue context? I think it's fair to say that we work with a number of suppliers. What we don't often work with is organisations who are taking a more critical look at us as a whole. So we might have procurement specialists in or engineering specialists in. But to have an organisation work with us as a senior team and as a whole fire and rescue service, offer their critique of what we do well and what we don't do so well, and then take recommendations forward, that's not something we've got a great deal of experience in. We found Infuse a really good company to work with from a point of view of they're willing to listen. And we've worked with companies over the years where perhaps their listening skills weren't where we might have expected. We think it's important you understand our context. Now, you may take a view on that and you might think that that effort is misplaced, but to us it's important. It's important from a cultural point of view. It's important from a technical point of view. And I think in terms of ambition, it's important from a capacity point of view. And one thing that impressed us early was Infuse's ability and willingness to listen to that context. What we think Infuse have done with us is you've tried to develop the outcomes and the solutions with us. You've listened to what we think might work, you've taken our ideas on board, but you've also brought in that wider sector experience. So I think for us, there's that feeling of co-design. It makes it feel to us as if you're engaged in the process, that the outcomes matter to you as much as they do to us, and that's been refreshing. I think being human is fairly straightforward. You're here. We're not doing this remotely. And over the last few years, of course, much of our non-operational business, I suppose, has been carried out via Teams and other conference platforms. There's advantages to that, of course, but there are disadvantages. And in fact, the willingness of Infuse colleagues to come down and be with us and to work in rooms and really get into the nuts and bolts of what needed to be done has been refreshing. And I think in terms of being candid, that's really landed with us as a service. Why so? Well, in our operational activity, being candid with the public is something that we do naturally. We share what we do, we share what we're about, we share what goes well, we share what goes perhaps not quite so well. Taking that approach back into the organisation is something that we are learning. We're probably still on that journey. Being able to be candid with us, ourselves and each other as a senior team.